right, hi everybody. Welcome back to Yasmin Collects, and welcome if you are new. I tried really hard to make a camera angle work here, so it kind of looks like I'm peering down at you, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do in the car. And speaking of, the reason why we're in the car today is because I am here to give you a quick tour and overview of one of my newest acquires, okay? I don't even know how I actually, I can't believe I actually did this, but I did. I purchased a 2007 Mazda 3, and I'm really excited about this. So I figured what I could do here is share a little bit of information with y'all about my interest in cars, specifically Mazdas, because I definitely haven't talked about it on the channel before. So I'd like to do that, and then I also want to give you a tour of the vehicle. We have a pretty cool sound system and some older equipment that the previous owner left in the vehicle. So if you're excited and interested in any of those things, all of the above, yes. If you're just stumbling across this video, I will be talking about Miatas as well. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, for any reoccurring channel viewers, you guys know that I literally hate filming in public. Just the thought of another person seeing that I'm talking to a camera is so stressful for me, especially on Yasmin Collects, because this is pretty much just a place for me to info dump about all my special interests. So whenever I see like a person, I'm like, which probably only makes me look more suspicious. Also, I have a loud voice, so I don't know if people in this garage can hear that I'm talking to myself. So I've been interested in cars ever since I was little. I've always had an interest as well in the 80s and the 90s. I love vaporwave aesthetics. Obviously, old stuff is something that's of interest to me, considering that I usually do content about VCRs, VCR repairs. I'm starting to dabble in computers as well, but in general, retro tech is kind of my thing and my bread and butter. Always been interested in vehicles. I've had the same car in my possession since I first got my license. I got my license when I was like 17, I think. I bought a car to commute to high school, and I still own that car. It's never been my favorite, and I really didn't get to choose the design. It was kind of just like whatever I could afford at the time, and the car has served me well, I will say. I've had it for many years at this point, but it's always been ugly to me. I never liked it. I did not choose it either. My parents actually chose it for me, and I just didn't feel like I had a lot of say in choosing the vehicle that I wanted. With that being said, I've lived in several different states at this point in my life, and I was doing a lot of moving, and what happened was I had lost my job, and then like the pandemonium happened, and I just kind of stopped taking care of the car. I stopped going for regular oil changes. I stopped paying for problems that the mechanic was identifying, and honestly, like, I just kind of let it go. I've been having problems with this car for like 2 years at this point. So yada yada. The point is that I was just like putting off getting a different vehicle because it's a very stressful process, and I personally, although I know enough about vehicles, and I feel like I definitely know more about cars than people of my age and gender identity, I still don't like the process. I hate dealing with salespeople. I worked in sales for a long time, so I know how it goes, and it's just like not a fun experience. But I really got lucky with this Mazda. I drove quite a distance to get to her, and I honestly thought the listing was too good to be true. I paid about just under $4,000 for the car. I'm not going to show too much of the exterior of the car, and obviously definitely not my license plate. I trust you all to be normal and not crazy, but still you have to be careful on the internet, and this is a car video, so I'm trying to be a little bit careful of that. But it is this gorgeous cherry red color, and just she's a stunner overall. Person I bought it from, it was a like used car lot. He had said that several people had come to test drive this car, and for one reason or another they didn't go with it. Some people, he said, didn't think that it was a very smooth ride, or that like they didn't enjoy like something about the car. And I think there are a couple reasons why someone who wouldn't know what to look for would skip on this car. But for me, I feel like I made off like a bandit. I think for this car, it has 177,000 miles on it. Also, you can't know for sure, but the previous owner, it looks like they were commuting from one state to another, because you have service records in one state, service records in another state, back and forth for several years. So I'm hoping and thinking that a lot of these were highway miles. And yeah. Finally, one other thing I wanted to talk about is my love for Mazdas specifically. So I have always loved Mazdas. I have always liked sportier kind of cars. I love Miatas. I've had a special interest for them for a really, really long time, honestly. And I love watching the little Instagram videos with their little headlights blinking back and forth, or how you can like make the headlights wink. I just think they're really cute, tiny little cars. And although this isn't a Miata, it is still a really cool find. It's from the 2000s, which is definitely on brand for me. And yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to share. I'm sure there's more that would come up, but it's pretty hot in this car, and I'm generally not operating on my 100% excitement when I'm filming in a car, because I get nervous. So yeah, I'm going to show you under the hood. I'm also going to start it up for you. We're going to talk about some things, including the 6-disc CD change player, and it's going to be a good old time. So there's our intro. That's the context. Let's get into looking at and talking about more about the car. Here is some of the interior. So we have our radio and our air conditioning unit right here. Something of note that's interesting about this unit. So first of all, we have a 6-disc change player. I'm sure these were really cool back in the day, but now they're just a huge pain because they're almost always jammed or stuck. And I just feel like they've never worked really well. So we do have to troubleshoot that a little bit, depending on how much time I take filming. We'll see if that ends up being a separate video. We then also, okay, let's talk about this. So we have this little pry here, which I think was used to pry open the audio system, because whoever owned this car before me was a big fan of Sirius XM radio. If you are too young to know what Sirius XM is, it is basically a subscription-based radio service where you can get satellite radio. You can get a bunch more stations, but it is pretty expensive. My partner's dad still uses Sirius XM, and he calls every year to get a reduced rate, but I thought it was really interesting that we have this old model. You don't have to do this anymore. It's usually programmed into the vehicle, or it's like on the screen and you kind of do it that way. But this is actually a manual little device here that came with the car, and it's plugged in all the way back there. So once again, whoever was doing this, I'm assuming that he or she or they, whomever this was doing this on their own. And I haven't even tried to screw with this yet because I'm so nervous about how this is pried, how like they basically just pried it in. There are some problems with the radio. The signal is not so great, and I've noticed that it's been a bit of a problem, but I think it's honestly because either a technician or the previous owner, like I said, pried this baby open and just kind of spliced a bunch of crap together. So I feel like it's going to be an easy fix. My aux works fine, and that's usually what I use. I have an MP3 player, and I also have my flip that I have songs installed onto, so I'm almost always on aux. I would really love to be able to use the CD player though, so that's something, if we have time in this video, we'll be able to look at. If I end up doing it, just check out the timestamps in the description. I almost always put timestamps in my videos unless they're like 10 minutes long, so you can just kind of bebop back and forth and take a peek at where we are in the content in case you do not want to look at all of it. Basic clutch down here. It is kind of interesting to me that the emergency brake is on the right here. I'm kind of more used to it being on this side. And we have our shift here. This is an automatic. A lot of Mazda 3s are manuals, but mine is not. I do not know how to drive stick. I would love to learn how to drive stick. We also have some cup holders here. I just have some water, and I like that you can open and close it like that so it's not in the way. Here we have the wheel. It is starting to gum up and dry rot a little bit. I have a cherry wheel cover coming in because I want this whole car's theme to be cherry themed since it is such a beautiful vibrant red. So the wheel handling is great. It's a little bit tighter than what I'm used to, but especially when it gets really hot in here, and trust me, it gets ridiculously hot here, I definitely want to have a wheel cover because it's just a little bit easier. Have the Mazda logo here. It is definitely showing some signs of wear. The silver is kind of peeled off to just reveal the underneath before they actually coated it. So again, there are signs of age. This car is almost like, I mean, in a couple of years it'll be 20 years old. It's 2007, so about 15 years old at this point. Gonna expect things like that. We have the volume controls for the audio, which does work. We also have a mute button, which has been very helpful throughout driving. I've already driven this thing a couple, I don't know, like probably like 70 miles in the last week. I did have to drive it back after purchasing it, which was a little bit stressful because I was like, if something's going to go wrong, it's probably going to show me very quickly. We also have a mode switch change, and I actually have no idea what this is. I think this is probably for the 6-disc changer, and then this here is just to determine what mode it would be in. So like, you know, are you listening to the radio, satellite, CD, or media, which for me would be aux cord. Literally, construction, it sounds like someone is getting murdered. They're interrupting my publicly filmed video. On, off, I literally have no idea what this is. I need to look at the manual. So sad, this car did not come with the manual, which I really kind of thought it would, but it didn't. So I need to look at that and figure out what that is. I'm pretty sure this is like cruise control. I have no idea what Res Excel is either, so again, I need to look and cancel. Not sure what we'd be canceling, but this is the wheel. Gas down here. This one has a gas tank on the right side, or my right when I'm in the passenger. I am always, not passenger, driver's seat. I am always used to gas pumps being on my left, so it's kind of weird for me. This is for the trunk, and then we also have the hood right here, which we're gonna pop and take a look underneath. Okay, we're gonna start her up. You can see right here, whenever it is dark and the lights are powered on, it's got this really cool blue glow underneath it. So we're gonna start the car up. I'm going to not say anything, but I'm going to ask you what your first thought is when you, or what you first think when this vehicle starts. I will tell you, this is why I think that this one got slept on and I managed to get it, because also I was not afraid to ask this dealer a billion questions. So let's just do it. Did you hear it? The tire pressure sensor is bad, which doesn't bother me at all because my previous car's tire sensor was bad, so I have just an air pump. Common with older cars, fixing it is way too expensive, so it's much better to just maintain your tire pressure anyways. I am going to be getting new tires for this car. I think the dealer said that they should be fine, but the front two were looking a little dry rotted. I'm just going to replace the tires for sure. We have our fuel gauge, our miles on here, 178,100. Wow, you can't see that. There we go. 178,104 43 miles on the car. I'm going to start it up again so you can hear that sound. That sound that you are hearing, that definitely sounds like there could be something wrong with the car, is actually this 6-disc player. It has a bunch of discs stuck on top of each other in there, and it was so funny. As soon as I started it up, I was like, at first I got really nervous and I was like, oh, this is a lemon, that's why it's $3,900. Nope. Disc is stuck in here, so shout out to that. Let's also take a peek at this. This is the Sirius XM. I haven't really played around with this thing much. I don't think it still works. Yeah, great offer now, so they want me to call them back so I can re-sign up for it. That is probably not going to happen. I don't know, let me just enter something and see if it works. No antenna. Yeah, so it's not working. But I think this is really, really cool. If anybody knows about Sirius XM, I would never want something like this, to be honest with you. I would never want to buy this, but it is still cool to have it in the car. I promise I'm not that person, but this car also has a sunroof, which is something I have never had but always wanted. It's got this right here that shuts it, and then you've got, tilt it up. I feel like sunroofs are one of the first thing to go on an older car, and I actually took this one to the car wash the other day and I was so stressed out. I was like, well, if there's a leak in the sunroof, we're about to find out, but there isn't. All is well. I would say there's also a 90% chance that the previous owner of this car was a smoker. No one else noticed when I got in to test drive it, but I was like, someone cooked here. Someone was smoking in here, because I used to be a smoker. I quit now, but I know that smoker smell. I never really smoked in my cars because I knew that it would not go well. But I walked in and I'm like, yeah, this person's a smoker. So you can definitely tell, but it doesn't bother me. Someone that's not new. I also am in the nightlife. Like, I'm not new to smoking at all, so it doesn't really bother me. We've also got an extra Bluetooth outlet in here. I don't have a flashlight on me, but someone dropped a coin in here, so I actually have to fish that out so I can use this, because I do have a GPS that I want to plug in. Since many of you guys know, I have a dumb phone, so I can't just be walking around without a GPS. And speaking of GPS, let's mess with this disc changer a little bit. I want to see if I can get the thingy pried out. Since I showed you guys this Sirius XM, I was waiting to do a video about the car before I removed this, because I definitely don't want this, don't need this, do not want to pay for a subscription service, no thank you. And I would love to be able to listen to CDs. That was kind of like something that was really on my list for a car, but most of the time when you get these older vehicles, like my old car, the CD player didn't work, and no matter what I did, I could not get that thing to work. YouTube is coming through with a tutorial to get the radio out of here. This is why I tell y'all, when some people are like, oh, no one needs this video tutorial, trust me, someone out there doesn't know how to do it, and that someone was me here. Also, whoever installed this Sirius XM thing, no kid gloves at all. I cannot get this prior tool out. I don't really know what's going on with that, but we have the front panel here removed, and then we've got two Phillips head screwdrivers here, or not screwdrivers, screws to take out. As you can see, things kind of look a little bit shoved in here. We're also missing a screw. Oh, no, yeah, because this is a different panel screw. We're also literally missing a screw here. Sorry, here. So whoever was doing this was, oh, how tight is it? Oh, okay. It's fine. I always bring a manual too, just in case the screwdriver is, or the unscrewy tool. Oh, I'm so good at words. It's really hot in here. Oh, it's really hot in here. And also I'm sunburnt all over my shoulders, so I am wearing a jacket to cover it. Oh, please pick this up. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't be into fuddling with things and have nails, because really it is just... Oh, it's not out all the way. Okay. Getting this out with claw-like nails was literally my personal hell. I am dripping sweat. Let's get this upstairs. Sweet, sweet air conditioning. The stuff that I do for YouTube, y'all. Here we are with this beast here. As you can see, the manufacture date that we have here is February 2007. This is a 6-disc changer. As I mentioned earlier, these things are the freaking bane of my existence. Truly, I am not a huge fan of disc changers. They are just not fun. They always need work. They never don't need work. So, can we do this, or do we need to? No, too tight. Don't want to strip it. Let me get another screwdriver. This little black screwdriver, not black, red. Oh my gosh. Can you tell I'm still in vacation mode? This little red screwdriver has never let me down. This one right here is a little stripped, so. But anyways, so yeah, when I looked at this car, besides the exterior looking nice, which, you know, is a bonus, but isn't really why we're here, I did also check the bottom for rust. I was really worried about that because my previous vehicle, another thing that made fixing it a lot less alluring, it was starting to rust out, and the mechanic showed me the pictures and it was pretty bad. So I was definitely very wary about that, which that was like my thing when we went to go test drive it. I was like, if I look underneath this thing and it's covered in rust, then it doesn't matter how cute it is, I'm gonna have to walk away. But luckily it wasn't rusted and it was super cute. So yeah, I'm just like making a mess here. So here is the big box, big silver box that is the actual disc changer. We just removed the front paneling here. This is just all the pretty stuff, and then of course the screen, which again, confirming that this was a smoker's car. You can kind of see down here that sort of yellowing, browning at the bottom. There's also like quite a bit of tar on the inside. So again, that is what happens when you purchase a car from a smoker. Which again, I don't really care. I just want this to work. I'm figuring out the best way to go about. So here's where you feed the disc. All right, party people, we are in. We're in. Here is the disc changer. I don't know why I thought it would be more sophisticated, but it's literally just like a couple little metal panels in there. So there is a disc in here, and I'm pretty sure it's religious. Revive Us Now is what it is. What I'd like to do is just try to like pull it out without having to screw up any of this other stuff. And I don't really care about religious discs. Okay, the disc is out. Please don't ask me how I got the disc out. There is a chance that I'm going to hell after this video. But I did also spray some compressed air in here. I think I've got all the little chips and bits out. If this doesn't work, leave me a response in the comments below, because it looks like these very teeny tiny screws here, which I didn't have the proper tool for, but also it's so hot here. It's not going to get any colder. I really did not want to have to take this off and put it back on again. If this doesn't work, I would be interested in getting rid of this mechanism, because I really don't need there to be a disc changer. I'm totally fine with there just being one disc and that's it. I'm also definitely scared to put in a disc in here. I'm gonna try it though in the car, and I will let you all know if this works by filming it, because I just remembered this video is not over. It's been a day. All right, it's a little bit dark in here, but update, I got this freaking prying tool out. If a professional installed this, I'm genuinely worried about them. This was horrible to get out. As you can see, I had to like push this out, and like all this stuff was trapped under here. As far as these Sirius XM cords go, like the crazy psycho in me just wants to like unplug the, like not unplug, literally I want to just cut them off is what I want to do. I'm not going to do that because I'm a mostly sane person, but what I am going to do is see how far I can get this pulled out, and then hopefully I can undo these cables. Also, although we dislodged the disc, this thing is still making that rustling noise, so I think there's something wrong with the actual disc changer itself. At this point, I could fix it, but also part of me just thinks I could just get an aftermarket radio and just pop it in there, or I can deal with the sound, because besides that, everything works perfectly fine. So let me see how far I can get here, see if we can get the connectors off. I also got some really cute little red mats to replace these gray ones, so everything's going to be a nice cherry red theme throughout. Again, pretty dark in here, but we're in. I ended up having to do a bunch of unscrewing and pulling off, but we have the old Sirius XM logo here, and this, I don't really understand how this is attached, to be honest with you. Alrighty, we've got some more wires here. These lead all the way up to the radio. What I'm going to do is what I did with the two connectors that were added to this fuse. I'm just gonna cut them, and I'm gonna tape them up with ye old trusty electrical tape. Hopefully this is fine. Definitely a temporary solution, but I got this wretched thing out of here. Literally, these cables just sticking out of here is making me feral. And also, I do feel that other cable though, so I think I might remove the radio again and see if it's connected there too. Okay, just kidding, so no one has a heart attack. I found the fuse box. I took the radio back out, and I found the fuse box. I cut it just to get it out of there, and then now I'm just left with this. I'm not sure where this goes, to be completely honest with you, but it seems like most of the cords powering the Sirius is gone, which is really all I'm worried about. Alrighty, I taped up the exposed part of the wires. Again, I don't think those wires actually lead to anything, and since I got rid of the 8-volt box that was powering the Sirius XM, and also that cord went back into this radio, so that should be all good. It does kind of bring me comfort to know that Sirius XM has been the worst company ever, even back in the 2000s, so I love the nostalgia for that. But hopefully I can reinstall this. We're gonna start the car back up. CD player still makes an obnoxious noise, but maybe we'll actually get something when I press this satellite button. Also, I just kind of want to test and make sure that everything is still working as it should after I just frickin' took it apart. Also, I found like a bunch of coins like stuck in here, there's a bunch of coins, so, and also there was a coin stuck in this, I think I told y'all, but I got that out. Previous owner was really into keeping quarters all over the place. They were a smoker, and I guess they let some dum-dum come in here and install Sirius XM, and they did not even have the decency to take out the freaking console plier. Like, honestly, it was really hard to get out, but in this day and age when people are absolutely nuts, to me, all having that thing here says is, hey, come steal this, or hey, come rip this out. So yeah. Okay, we put everything back in, and look, it's a normal console. Look, this ashtray even works perfectly now, which is amazing. And it did actually come with the ashtray that I am almost positive this previous owner used. So There we go. Now the test, I'm going to plug my dash cam in because yes, I do still have cables that need to be around here. Let's do her this way. Got my dash cam going, and let's start her up and see if everything ended up being all good. Waiting for the sound. There we go. There's the sound of my dash cam. So just like that, we got it fixed. It wasn't really just like that because it took forever and I had to do some wacky things. Cause like, look at this frickin' Sirius XM thing. Like, why? It's crazy. Back in the day, I guess you really needed to do a lot of stuff to get something like that installed. So here's another look at this. Again, I really wouldn't mind getting an aftermarket radio. That is not like the highest priority though, obviously. Not the highest priority. But alrighty, so there are some customizations that I want to do, but also this was a long day and I don't know how specific I want to get with the little alterations I want to do with this car. I just want it to be a little bit cuter. I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to make it that my vehicle is really easy to spot and identify, because like I love you guys and I love sharing YouTube videos, but also, you know, privacy is a thing and privacy is important. You never know who comes across your video. So yeah, with all that sad stuff out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, Yasmin Collects. We do all kinds of retro techie things here on this channel, and occasionally I get nerdy about a car that I'm excited to have. So yeah, thank you once again for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!